everyone. So we are here in our second part of pre-Shakespearean drama dated 1400 to 1500. In first part we saw that how the drama as a form began in England, and there was three type of a drama in medieval period, that is church play, pageant and university. Which church plays were mostly related to religious plays, pageants were mostly related to history of cities, and university was those writers who were studied university and mostly inspired by the Roman and Greek writers. So today we will learn about those university wits in detail who has actually paved the way for Shakespeare. So the pre-Shakespearean dramatists, they are mostly, I have given a few little information about them in the previous lecture. Today we will see them in little bit more details. The pre-Shakespearean dramatists are known as the university wits. They are so called because they were associated with the University of Cambridge or Oxford. Simple. The constellation of the university wits consists of minor stars like Thomas Kyd, John Lilly, George Peele, Robert Greene, Thomas Lodge and Thomas Nash. All of them revolve around the central sun, Christopher Marlowe. Though in the picture you can see the John Lilly in center. Of course John Lilly was very expert, very famous writer, but why Christopher Marlowe is the center of this group? Because he is the only writer who is still readable. Reader are still reading him rather than the other six writers. These university men were usually actors as well as dramatists. They knew the stage and the audience, and in writing their plays they remember not only the actor's part but also the audience love for story and brave spectacle. So church plays were only related what they are showing, but here dramatists were more concerned with what audience wants to see. So they have worked on that particular part too. Their training began as actor and they revised old plays and finally became independent writers. So they actually get the training of being writer, how to write the plays. Then they model their plays from the old plays which is written in the other countries or in Rome or in Latin languages, and they become independent writers. They often work together as Shakespeare worked with Marlowe and Fletcher, either in revising old play or in creating new one. They have worked in a collaboration, that is known as a collaboration. So sometimes Shakespeare has worked with Marlowe or Fletcher or other writer, and other writer has worked each other too. Sometimes revising old plays or sometimes writing in new plays. They were romantic in their attitude and represented the spirit of Renaissance. Romantic in the sense they were very much free souls. They didn't like to follow the rules, so they were kind of enjoy their freedom, and also they were embedded with this Renaissance spirit. So you can see the Renaissance in their plays too. The university which contributed to formation of a romantic comedy fourth in the hands of Shakespeare. What they actually helped to write, the Shakespeare could get help from them to write a very romantic comedy in a good way. So there are so many writers in this group who was mostly has written comedies, especially romantic comedies. Lilly the courtier made a notable contribution to the formation of English comedy. He has helped to formate this form. The comedies of Lilly are romantic as well as witty. The comedies of Peele are both satirical and humorous. They used to write comedy, but they have their own styles. Shakespeare has borrowed this different type of styles from them. The university wits, in spite of their loose plots, made some advance in plot construction and harmonizing the different threads of the stories into perfect whole. Their plots may not be very much in a good shape, but they have revolutionized in making the different kinds of plots. In this respect, Greene showed the way to Shakespeare. In Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay, there are several threads that have been harmonized in a beautiful way. What they are saying, their plot was not just a linear or only one. They have made subplots and the characters getting crashed between each other. But at the end, he has managed to solve the problems, and this is what Shakespeare has learned from it. That's why we can say that in his comedy there are so many characters, there is so many stories going on together, but at the end we get the solution of everything. This play anticipates Shakespeare's skill in constructing the plot of Merchant of Venice and A Midsummer Night's Dream. So such a play, like especially Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay, has helped Shakespeare to write his plays of The Merchant of Venice and Midsummer Night's Dream. Here I have put a slide. Let's read it. The university weeds. The term university weed was not in their lifetime. Okay, first you think when they were actually writing, they were not famous as a university weeds. Somebody has given this title when, but was coined by this word, the university word weeds. Is word was coined. આ શબ્દ કોણે એમના માટે વાપર્યો છે તો by George Sainsbury in 19th century journalist and author. So in 19th century George Sainsbury has written a book of history of English literature. In his book he has given a word. This word was first time used in the 19th century in his book, and this type of a writer who has a similar style, like they were all from the universities from Cambridge or Oxford, plus they have similar type of materials, they have similar type of inspiration like Roman and Greek writers, and they have almost same style. So he made a group of writers and gave this name to them. Sainsbury argues the rising shape of dramatic creativity in the 1580s showed itself in two separate branches of a national tree. So there are two types of a drama like church play and the university weeds. That kind of a noun was not established or was not in the fashion when they were working, but it is given to them by Sainsbury in 19th century. The university weeds is a phrase used to name a group of late 16th century writers and pamphleteers who were educated at university, either Oxford or Cambridge, and who became popular secular writers. So whoever have a same style, whoever working in a same manner, Sainsbury gave them name, and they were like 7 writers who were actually working in a same style. So they got this name 19th century. It was the earliest stage of the development of drama as a popular means of entertainment in public theatre and playhouse. University weeds writers are very much important to establish the drama in general for English language, because they are the modeled in later years and then later years. So they were very much important in the establishment of a drama as a form in English language. So they are like, we can say, a pioneer. They have pioneered this form. The university here in the slide I have given the age of them, that from where to whom they were alive. The university weeds prepared the ground for the historical play for Shakespeare. Not they just have given a help in comedy or in tragedy, also in historical plays. Marlowe's Edward III prepared the way for Richard II of Shakespeare. They had a fondness for heroic themes such as the lives of great figures like Timberlane. Now, Timberlane is written by Christopher Marlowe. Christopher Marlowe has that he has make a larger than life characters, which has given some kind of idea to Shakespeare. This dramatist prepared the way for the later tragedy. Thomas Kyd in Spanish tragedy popularized the vogue of Senecan tragedy, revealing the bloodshed, which later on Turner and Webster followed with enthusiasm. Now you have heard Seneca, name of Seneca in the previous lecture. Seneca is the biggest name who has inspired to write tragedies. What type of tragedy? Tragedy of revenge, tragedy of bloodshed, which was followed by Shakespeare in 1 or 2 plays, especially in Hamlet, and then Webster and Turner after Shakespeare, in post-Shakespearean age, they have followed this style too. Poetry was added to dramatic production by Pele and Lilly. So in George Pele and in Lilly, we can see the poetry in this place. So they have given some idea Shakespeare to write poetic dramas too. They made dramatic poet. See, that's what I just said. They have helped Shakespeare to write poetic drama. They also improved the art of characterization. Marlowe gave life and reality to the characters of a tragedy. They have not just made any kind of a character. Especially Marlowe have given so much depth in his characters, which we will study later, but that also have helped Shakespeare to make characters like Othello, Hamlet, King Lear, etc. In all those ways of university weeds, prepared the ground for Shakespeare. Shakespeare is big name because he has taken his inspiration from these 6 or 7 people and made a notable contribution to the growth of drama during the Elizabethan age. They were not exactly part of the Elizabethan age, but they have helped to flourish the drama in the age. Now we will study them one by one. So first we will begin with John Lilly. He educated at Magdalen College, Oxford, and studied at Cambridge. His play contains attractive lyrics, which were first printed in Blount's collected edition of the play, published in 1632. Lilly as a dramatist is important as the first English writer of what is essentially high comedy, and having adopted prose as a medium for its expression. So Lilly is famous for his lyrics in the drama. Then he is, we can say, the first writer who actually make a serious comedy, not just any comedy who people can laugh it and forget it. No, he gave some meaning, he gave some depth to the comedy. His famous plays are Euphues, The Anatomy of Wit, Woman in the Moon, Endymion, Sappho and Phao, Alexander and Campaspe, Miraz, Mother Bombay, Love's Metamorphosis, Galetha, etc. He has written more plays, but these are his most famous plays. But among them, his Euphues and Women in the Moon are most famous. That's why I have highlighted them properly, so you can understand that these two are his most famous plays. His comedies, mythological plays, allegorical plays are extremely witty. He was very witty person, so we can see humor, wit, comedy in his plays. His sparkling dialogues gave Shakespeare an excellent model to follow. So he mostly has written comedies and allegorical play, but mostly full of humors. Now George Pele, he was educated at Christ's Hospital, London, and Broadgate's Hall and Christ Church, Oxford. He was almost certainly a successful player as well as playwright, and his lyrics were popular in literary circles. So he is the second person after John Lilly who has lyrics in his play. You have to remember, because there were 7 writers who you can get confused that what writer style what. So Lilly is a comedian, who used to write comedies. Then George Pele also used to write comedy, and both have lyrics in their plays. He has left behind a pastoral, a comedy, a romantic tragedy, a chronicle history, a kind of mystery play, and romantic literary satire. These were his style and form. His famous plays are The Arrangement of Paris, a romantic comedy, a famous chronicle of King Edward chronicle play, The Old Wives' Tale, a clever satire on the popular drama of the day, The Love of King David Bathsheba, a biblical play. So these are different kind of a play he has written. He is not just write one type of it. There are varieties, and The Old Wives' Tale is very famous play, so you should know about it. He is famous for his poetic style and decorative phrases. He made no original contribution to drama, but his versatility, urban and graceful treatment of his themes, his command over imagination and language give him an honorable place among the others. So he may not, you can see that he has based his plays on some histories, on others' plays, but he had put, maybe he doesn't have the original stories, but he has made some original elements in his play. So he has this kind of an honorable place in this group. Now Robert Greene, he was educated at St. John's College and Clara Hall, Cambridge, and was incorporated at Oxford in 1588. He is famous for romantic setting, weaving a plot and notable contribution. So here he is famous for making romantic settings. He mostly used to write romantic plays. His famous plays are The Comical History of Alphonsus, King of Aragon, A Looking Glass for London and England, Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay, The History of Orlando Furioso, The Scottish History of James IV, and The Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay is his most famous play. Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay, this is the most famous romantic comedy. This is the third person who used to write comedy. First is John Lilly, then Robert Greene, So these three people are who are famous for writing comedies. Here he has mingled three worlds together, the world of magic, of aristocratic life and of country. I hope you will read this plays. Now the fourth writer, that is Thomas Nash. He was the student of St. John's College, Cambridge. He did tour through France and Italy, and before 1588 settled in London. He is famous for his play The Unfortunate Traveller or The Life of Jack Wilton. So the Jack Wilton is the name of the character who is also the unfortunate traveller in the story. So we have two titles of the play. The play is also considered as a forerunner of genre novel. I have taught you this in the first topic, that even I have given this question that give me the name of a first English novel. So there are few novels. Some student also replied me, which is very good. Also, The Unfortunate Traveller, we can say, is a forerunner. So we can say that it is a play, but it has very good story in it. So we can say that it is not a play exactly, it kind of a prose work, but it has a story. So we can say The Unfortunate Travel or The Life of Jack Wilton, it can be a first English novel, but not in a perfect way. He died at the age of 33, having shortened his days. So he actually did suicide or something. So he died early. Now Thomas Lodge. He was the son of Thomas Lodge, Lord Mayor of London. He is the son of a mayor, educated at Trinity College, Oxford. He abandoned law for literature and published A Defence of Plays, a reply to the school of abuse of Stephen Gosson on 1580. So that will come later, that there was a writer named Stephen Gosson. He has wrote a book, School of Abuse. What he had written in the book, that he has actually abused the form of poetry and play, that how this kind of a literature is actually are so much harmful for the society. People are getting wrong idea and they should be banished, and how poetry and other things are so much away from the reality, and so many bad things has talked about that. So many writer has written so many books replying over this book. If you don't know, then Sydney has also written the book over it, but that we will study in later. Right now, Thomas Lodge also has written book named A Defence of Plays. Sydney has written A Defence of Poetry. Thomas Lodge has written A Defence of Plays. He is most famous for his plays as Rosalind, Euphues' Golden Legacy, which appeared in 1590. Shakespeare followed in very closely in the plot of As You Like It. If you don't know As You Like It, then you can't understand what it is. But if you know the As You Like It and the story, that As You Like It has a heroine whose name is Rosalind, which is actually, we can say, are based on this play written by Thomas Lodge. So as we studied, as we just get the knowledge that how this writer has given inspiration to Shakespeare, so he has based few plays on these plays of these writers. Now Thomas Kidd. Now Thomas Kidd is as important writer of this group as John Lyly and Christopher Marlowe. He is the only person who was not the part of any university, yet having similar style as other. He is counted as important part of the group. Every other person of the group has studied either in Cambridge or in Oxford, but only Thomas Kidd is only a writer who didn't get any kind of study from any university, but he has almost the same style and same inspiration and same manner he has written the play. That's why Sainsbury has put him in this group. He is one of the best known tragic poets. See, further we saw three playwrights who used to write comedies. Now first time we have the writer who used to write tragedies. So you have to remember, we have two tragedy writers. First is Thomas Kidd and second is Christopher Marlowe, which will come later. Remember this. He is mostly famous for play The Spanish Tragedy, written in 1595. In the play, he employs the whole Senecan approaches of on horror ghost, hanging, stabbing, madness, stalling and suicide, and employs them as the reader gets surprised by such elements. As I said, Seneca has given so much inspiration, influence to these writers. So as we saw the very first tragedy, Gorboduc also inspired by the Seneca. Now again Seneca inspiring to Thomas Kyd for his play A Spanish Tragedy, which is full of horror, ghost, blood and etc. It is kind of a revenge story. Kyd contributed a new type of hero, that is hesitating type, sing magnificently in Hamlet on the stage. Now what is the meaning of a hesitating hero? Means normally what happened that hero in English plays are very so brave. They take action so quickly without making any kind of a thoughts. They never thought for a second time that whatever they were about to do, what the causes it will do. But for the first time Thomas Kyd made kind of a hero who used to think, who used to make some kind of a thinking that whether he is doing is good or not. That is called a hesitating type of a hero, which if you know Hamlet also is, that he takes decision that whether he should kill people or not. That is a new kind of a hero he has given to this world. Now Christopher Marlowe, before reading I am saying you must know very much about this playwright. He is the only playwright who is before Shakespeare who is as famous as Shakespeare. He was the son of shoemaker of Canterbury, is the only dramatist before Shakespeare who is still read with enthusiasm. Other playwright has written their work, but reader decides what they want to read. That's why Christopher Marlowe is again is the second writer who before Shakespeare is so much readable right now too. A patron sent him to Cambridge. He came London, became an actor and led a reckless life. So somebody gave him money and he went to Cambridge because he was very poor. He is the son of shoemaker. He became famous with his first play Tamburlaine. In 5 years he produced all his great work. His most famous 4 tragedies are Tamburlaine, Dr. Faustus, The Jew of Malta and Edward II or Edward III. Each one of these tragedies reflect the Renaissance spirit and revolves around the central personality who is consumed by the lust of power. These all 4 plays have a very much larger than life heroes who mostly fights for the powers, different kinds of the powers. He gave life and reality to character. He introduced the element of struggle. There is no moral of the short in Marlowe's tragedy. So normally what happened in tragedy, they put like a poetic justice that at the end of the day whoever the good character should get justice, but that is not in the Marlowe's play. It just like reality that not every time good people get treated rightly. So that's time he used the struggle in the play. So Christopher Marlowe is very important writer. We will study about him in detail in the third part of the lesson. Right now we are completing our lecture here. So here I have write down most famous plays of the writers we have just shown. I will give you this plays. So somebody of you have somebody to take part in it. I will tell you that which student will write about which play. But right now we are completing our lecture.